Hi, this is Brian Daniel, and in this short video, let's take a look at how capabilities from the IBM Digital Experience and IBM Marketing Cloud offerings allows Frank, a marketer from Greenwheels, the ability to deliver the engaging, personalized, and consistent user experience that keeps his customers coming back for more. We'll take a look at new integrations which empowers Frank with the ability to plan a customer's journey, to manage the site messaging, which includes content and social capabilities and commerce, and automate relevant cross-channel interactions. We'll begin by taking a quick look at the Greenwheels site. Here you'll see Greenwheels provides a number of different offerings around bikes and related products. It includes a community as well as a knowledge center where Greenwheels is able to share its passion of biking to its customers. But what's important here is the site is instrumented for analytics. And although we don't cover it within this specific video, Frank is able to capture and review the analytics and is able to determine that a number of his customers has been browsing the site and seems to be looking for bikes related to kids or toddlers, probably because it's summertime. So Frank decides to take action on this new knowledge and wants to do a couple of things. Now first, Frank decides he wants to plan the customer's journey. In order to do this, Frank can leverage the storyboard capabilities within the Journey Designer. Here you'll see that Frank has actually already started and has the capability to target specific segments of users, such as those with young children, set up a specific goal, and even work and collaborate with others on his team. So he's not necessarily working by himself. Now within this storyboard, it looks like Frank has set up a journey including a discover, try, and buy, which includes a number of different interactions. Interactions can be both online and offline interactions. And as Frank decides to build out this storyboard, he simply just needs to drag and drop the different interactions onto the page. Now Frank has added the email interactions and the mobile push interactions, but to complete the storyboard, at least for this specific demo, he decides he wants to add one more interactions around the digital experience site that he also manages. Now one of the neat things about the interactions is in order to implement them, so in the discover phase, Frank might want to send an email out to specific individuals and maybe also provide a specific page on toddlers within the DX site as an example. So to implement these different interactions, he simply needs to click on the interaction and choose open, and it's taken directly to the place where the interaction can be implemented. So in this case, it's back to the digital experience site. Now remember, to implement this interaction, Frank wants to create a dedicated area for toddler biking or kids biking. So in order to do this, Frank can switch into an edit mode and chooses to create a page. Now the edit mode gives Frank a real-time in-context preview of the changes he's making. Of course, all done within an authoring environment that can be previewed before it's pushed out in production. Now Frank chooses to create a kids page, and in creating the kids page, he has a number of different templates that are available to him, so he doesn't have to start from scratch. And observe that Frank can also set friendly URLs and can also choose to later set vanity URLs if he so desires. These friendly URLs and vanity URLs are very important for things such as search engine optimization. And speaking of search engine optimization, being mobile friendly is also important. But what's good for Frank is that the site itself, the templates, are already responsive and adaptive. So it's not something Frank has to worry about. As Frank sees, the template he selected already has some content on it for him to get started with. He just simply needs to make some additional changes and can leverage the full inline editing capabilities built into the platform. Now Frank's not quite happy with the existing layout, so he decides to edit the page and quickly make some changes to how the content is laid out. And in this case, he decides to just simply create a two-column layout in the main section and is happy with this. So far, the page has a hero banner, has a number of different content from the Knowledge Center, and Frank wants to add additional components onto the page. He has a number of different components available to him through the Site Manager, everything from additional promotional content to videos. And in this case, Frank is going to go ahead and choose to infuse some social capabilities onto the site. This will allow parents to participate in discussions or get some tips and ideas from other parents or even other Greenwheel bike users about the best bikes for their kids. This capability is showing an example of the digital data connector, which has the ability to pull in this case, social data from a backend system, but treat it like content. And by treating this data like content, users such as Frank has full control as to how the data is displayed and how much of the data is displayed. So Frank in this case decides that he wants to limit the social information to a specific community and makes those changes and clicks save. So the last thing Frank wants to do after creating the page, adjusting the layout, infusing social capabilities, is obviously to point the parents to a specific set of bikes that might be of interest. Now again, using the digital data connector, Frank is able to easily pull in data from a backend system such as Commerce, but treat this data like content, and is able to easily browse the product catalog and select the latest kids bikes to be displayed within his new kids page. Any specific tags which will help him with his analytics can be added, so he has full control as to instrumenting this page for analytics. And once it's done, can go ahead and take a look at the final page. Observe that clicking on a bike takes him to the product details page where it's already populated with information, again coming from Commerce, and surrounded by relevant information such as rich media from a video provider. At this point, Frank has finished his work on the DX site interaction and wants to begin working on the email interaction. He wants to send an email out to individuals who might have visited the site in the past and were looking for those kids or toddlers bike. Basically getting them to come back to the site now that we have a kids landing page. Now creating a consistent experience is important for Frank, and this includes both consistent imagery and content. Fortunately for Frank, he can leverage the authoring capabilities from the digital experience platform. Here's an example where Frank has been working with his team on a number of different email templates. And it just so happens he has one available to him, which includes the imagery and content from the kids page, which he just created. Looks like one of his other team members were busy at work. Now the important thing here is Frank can leverage the inline editing and authoring capabilities that's provided to him by the digital experience platform and has full access to all the imagery and rich media available to him through the digital asset management repository. Now Frank is happy with the content as is and is going to choose to deploy it to the IBM Marketing Cloud. And with a simple pushing of a button, the authoring template is deployed into the IBM Marketing Cloud where it can be managed for delivery to the segment of users. Now once the email content has been deployed into the IBM Marketing Cloud, Frank can further choose to work with the templates as needed. For example, Frank can test the email template against different segments of users and can even view the email template on different types of devices. But for now, he's happy with what he sees and decides to move on to the send experience. Now within the send experience, Frank has a number of options as well. But what's important here is his ability to select where the email will be sent. In this case, Frank wants to direct this email to the set of users that might have visited the site in the past few weeks. Those users that might have been looking for the kids or toddlers bikes. Additional options include delivery options such as send time optimization, sending the email out at the time when users are most likely to open it, A/B testing, and as well as a quick mail check to ensure that the email is optimized as best as it can be. And once he's happy with it, chooses to execute or send that email out. So for the purpose of this demo, let's take a look at how the email would have been received by one of these users. Now here's Heather, and it looks like Heather is using the new IBM Verse mailing client. But what's important here is we can see that Heather has received this email, and clicking on the email doesn't just take Heather to the new kids landing page, but it's able to detect that this is Heather coming into the site, and you can see the hero banner has changed. So it's not just directing the user to a site with a consistent imagery and information, but is also able to detect the type of user, where they're coming from, and also deliver the right messaging to them. Well, thank you. I hope you enjoyed this short demo. To recap, we took a look at how Frank, a marketer, was able to plan a customer journey, manage the site messaging, which includes the content, and fusing social capabilities, placing the commerce products onto the page, and also reaching customers through the email and other cross-channel interactions. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at briand@us.ibm.com. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.